Alistair, the US dollar index has fallen 10.8% in the first half of 2025. And according to the United States Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis inflation calculator, $100 in 2025 buys what just $12.56 could buy in 1971. Will the general public realise that printing money is digging a deeper hole for themselves?
Well, I mean, there are several sort of elements to this. I mean, the first is that the Federal Bank of Minneapolis will be doing what every other government organization does, and that is rely on the government's own statistics. And we know from people like John Williams at Shadow Stats that for some time the calculation of inflation, in other words, what if you like lowers the purchasing power of a dollar, has been suppressed. I mean, instead of inflation actually running at somewhere between 5 and 10%, it routinely seems to run between 1 and 3% or something. So the numbers are suppressed. So if you take that over a long period of time, then obviously, your $12.50 today understates the situation completely. The problem that statisticians have is that you cannot actually calculate the purchasing power of the dollar measured in a basket of commodities, because everybody's commodities, if you like, what we spend in life in our day-to-day lives varies from person to person. And so the whole concept, if you like, of a consumer price index is actually fatally flawed. And this is why you can have differences of opinion between, say, the government statistical department and a private sector analysis who uses similar methods, but taking out the changes which appear to have been put in to try and suppress the evidence. The only way in which you can measure the relationship between real money and credit, which is what the latter being what the dollar is through the relationship between gold, which is real legal money, and the dollar. So if you take those numbers, you have an alternative result, and that is $35 back in 1971 is now translated into $3,500 today, approximately. So what this means is that a dollar today, back in 1971, is only worth 1 cent of the 1971 dollar. So in other words, the loss of purchasing power is 12.5 times more than the Federal Bank of Minneapolis states.
Well, that doesn't surprise me at all. And I was thinking while you were talking, and I shouldn't have been doing that. I should have been listening 100% to what you were saying, which I was anyway. But I thought, I wonder if the Federal Reserve, out of the $100, first took out the taxation level on $100, which in reality, the person who gets $100, they only really get 75 because there's taxation of 25%. Yep. So I think Alistair's quite right. 1 cent would be better. Yeah, a better alternative.